And hello. It is me. It is that D-O-double-G. And welcome, one and all, to the award-winning and the FCA 3 times award-nominated Absolute Football Podcast. And in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cooling and shooting some beatball outside of the school when a couple of guys, they were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mum got scared. She said,
"Move my auntie and my uncle in Bel Air."
There you go. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Damon. Thank you for that, Rebecca. Come on, kid. Where's your culture? All the time. Just letting me do. I was going to do Boyzone this evening, but I thought, I bet she hasn't done her homework and picked that up either. But we are here, everybody. And as you can see, I am not alone. We do have the ever-present and effervescent, which is a nice thing. I got told off for being mean last week, so I'm being nice, ever-present, effervescent, with a warming, glowing glow of sunshine and happiness. Rebecca, how are you this evening?
I'm very good, thank you. Happy to be talking an Everton win, finally.
I know. It's just, what a time to be alive as an Everton fan. And I've already picked up in the chat, Claire said, David looks like he's questioned his decision to be up with Joshua Single. That was gangster rapping, Claire. That wasn't singing. That was gangster rapping because I'm down with the kids and all of that jazz. But Damon, we have got Damon from multiple other podcasts and sources. Damon, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what they can do and where people can find you doing it?
Well, I usually host for LFC Transfer Room on Thursday nights usually, and I also have my own podcast which is called HD Podcast, and you'll also see me on Style of Football Podcast as well. So yeah, I'm around.
Oh, look at that!
I'm a countryman. I'm everywhere.
He's loving it. And in the chat already, we've got Spenny fan Chris. Good evening, Spenny fan. Hope you're doing well. And he's filling us in already. Bournemouth are already 1-0 up in 70 minutes. Van Elson 1-0 up. And I think Heather is there checking that game out. The big local derby on the south coast there. And Graham is there. Good evening, Graham. Hope you're doing well. We've already mentioned the fact that Claire is in. And Simon, thanks for joining us this evening. Hope you are doing well. And Lucy's in. Good evening, Lucy. Hope you're doing well. She thinks Damon looks quite scared. You look scared, apparently, Damon, like a deer in the headlights.
I'm all This is nothing new to me. This is nothing new to me at all. So go on.
What's the difference between doing like professional, grown-up, mature podcasts and then just being hit with that bit of Fresh Prince off the bat?
You know what? I prefer this though. I prefer this, if I'm honest. Well, you can't be all professional all the time.
Well, do you know what? We certainly fly the flag for you. Don't have to be professional all the time. That is waved loud and proud here. And as well, as we said at the start, 3 times FCA award nominated. Best new content creator, best in women's football, best in non-league. Please, everybody, don't do it now. Do you know what? Open up a fresh tab on another page. Go and have a look there on the FCA website, how to vote. And please check us out there. Please vote. Show us some support. And that would be lovely. That would be so appreciated. We'd really enjoy that. Jen's joined us in the chat as well. Jen, hope you're doing well. And Graham said, Rebecca, you clearly didn't get the baseball cap and beard memo. Remember that. I'll give you the heads up next time. I'll tell you, get that beard ready. Claire said, handsome buggers on this pod only. That's true. I think that's lovely. She thinks you're handsome, Rebecca. Isn't that lovely? And Claire said, you don't have to be professional all the time at all if you are clear on the Wowdy Wabble on Thursdays. That is very true. And Simon said, we're all scared when you're on, Josh, because no one knows what you're going to say. And that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. But do you know what we are going to say? And everybody knows is coming. We've all been very excited. Even people that don't like Everton. I'm not an Everton fan, but even I had a little cheer inside of me. Just for you, Rebecca. Everton winning a game of football. Everton too. Crystal Palace went, how did that game make you feel?
Oh, I don't think I've ever been happier to win. Oh, it's been a long time coming as this one. I mean, we've all been there for the 2-0 up, get beat 3-2. It's just been never ending. And then to finally be able to get the win. We didn't make it easy for ourselves yet again, going behind. I think this was our, what was it? I think there was like 36 matches that we've not won from behind, and this was our first one in 36 matches that we have come from behind, which is just a mad stat for us. I don't know where that's come from, but as I've said, having Jared back, our season starts from now. I mean, he is, like, to be able to say we have our defence back is incredible. We had Miko, Jared and Tarky. We still are missing the right back of Seamus Coleman, but we do have Ashley Young to fill in there. It is one of them where with Ashley Young, don't know how he does it, but he can pull off some assists. He is making Everton fans, including myself, eat our words at times with these assists he's pulling out. But Nathan Patterson is close to being back. He's currently playing in the under-21s match, which we're winning 3-1. So it's quite a good weekend for Everton at the moment. It was annoying to concede yet again a set piece. I think that has been one of our issues this season is we cannot defend set pieces. I'm very shocked that Palace didn't get 2 or 3 in that first half. We didn't show up, and it was a case of, think they had one that if it wasn't for Ndiaye being on the line, it would have gone in. So huge shout out to him for playing everywhere at this point. And then also they had another one, which I think it deflected off Tarky's head and it just bounced straight in front of Pickford. And the scramble that we had to try and get that away, thankfully it was given as a foul on Ashley Young, but I did think that Palace could have taken that match in the first half. There were boos ringing round Goodison at half time. Apparently, Seamus Coleman did give them the kick up the bottom that they needed, and a lot of players were shocked that you couldn't hear him round the ground. Apparently, he was yelling that loud, and it just shows the importance of having Coleman still in our squad, even if he isn't playing as often, or even if it's a case of he's not playing at all at times. Still having him signed and still having him in the changing room is the biggest thing that we can possibly do. And then the second half started, and can we just say what a goal from Dwight McNeil? We've seen him attempt these throughout the season. They've either gone wide, hit the post, or gone out of the ground, I think. But this time, I think there's a fan who you can see in Upper Bullens, and he's already stood up with his arms up in the air celebrating even before he takes the shot. It was incredible. Yeah, it was very well taken from Dwight. Ashley Young getting the assist, and then the second goal, which, can we just appreciate Jack Harrison's touch? The little touch and turn, just to set Dwight McNeil up again for his second. And I think it comes to something when we haven't had a player score 2 goals in a match at home since a player that can't be named.
I don't want to go down that route, but I just thought you were going to say for like at least a decade, surely.
No, we've away. Our last one was Brighton when we won 5-1, 4-1, I think it was, and I think that was like.
I forgot you scored that many goals in the game. I didn't think you did that at Everton.
Yeah, that was one of our mad away matches that we did I think it was last season. Could have been the season before. But yeah, I was like at home, the last person to score 2 goals is a player that we won't mention. But I'm happy we won. We're out of the relegation at the moment, and we're 3 points off Man United. So
I do like that. I do know, great with the chat. He's so happy for Rebecca that Everton won and they beat Palace, which is a cherry on top, which made him laugh. There was so I would say Ashley Young's got to be 100 by now, surely. I think he must be getting there. And there was somebody. I look at the Chris. Everyone was happy for you. Chris had a lovely smile on it. Claire made a comment, which I don't know if I can read out, because I just don't think that's appropriate, Claire. You're dragging down the standard of this show all the time. You're not even on it. You're dragging it. You'd think that'll be me. It wasn't me. And Sam's crying somewhere after that little low blow about Man United. That is shocking. I mean, we're gonna let you embellish a little bit more in the Everton victory in just a minute, but it's always nicer to celebrate with friends. We've got another friend who's joining us this evening, another treat for the eyes and ears. We've got Jay Mated, who's come on from another podcast doing double duty. How are you doing this evening, Jay? You are muted at the minute.
I know it's probably the most sense. It's the most sense I'm going to make this evening, I think. Therefore, with the old mute. No, thanks for having me. I've pulled double, triple duty. I think when Spurs win, it's always pleasurable to do the tour. Do you know what I mean? It's I might have gone a little bit missing when we lost to Arsenal, but prior arrangements, nothing to do with.
That's why we've got nobody who supports United wanted to come on this evening either. But don't.
I hear it. I appreciate the mentality. But no, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Well done, Everton. By the way, I was watching Daesh, and it's like. I was like, sometimes I'm sure you. But listen, Everton fans, you boo everybody. Give it 6 months, you'll be booed. I get it, but like Daesh, when he wasn't, it's all right, Daesh ball when you're getting results, but when you're not getting results, you start to be thinking, oh, what about this manager and what about that manager? But it's nice that they got, the team functioning a bit. I think I saw someone they said. They said Dwight McNeil is the Olivier Giroud of Mark Albrighton's, and I was like, that felt like a very accurate description. So,
I enjoyed it. I'm not obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, so Everton winning's neither here nor there for me. But it was lovely for you, Rebecca, and in the chat, Rebecca said she's crying. That's you two done. Isn't that lovely? I mean. Damon, I know again as a fellow Liverpool fan, an Everton win isn't here nor there, but we've got to give Rebecca some love. Surely, are you happy at all for Everton picking up some points? Always good for about Everton for you.
As long as they get enough just to stay up, so we get that 6 points every single season, I'm happy with whatever goes down. Anything in between that, but
6 points. What happened last season?
Yeah. Keep. It's one of them games that you don't want to lose in the Premier League, do we? We don't want to lose the Merseyside derby in the Premier League. So if they stay up, I'm not too bothered. If they go down, I'm not too bothered. So,
but
I thought doesn't it?
It was nice for you, Rebecca. Nice for Dyche, because I do love a bit of Sean Dyche. I love that. I just love that sexy, gristly voice that he's got, and I would miss that. I would miss that if it wasn't there. And is it before we get into anything else, Rebecca? Is there anything else that you want to just revel in this moment? Because who knows when you'll get another one.
Yeah, one thing I do have to say is Dyche did seem to get his subs right this week. We saw like-for-like players being swapped, and it wasn't a case of we're taking Illiman and Dye off, who is our key player at the moment for chances, and bringing on more defensive midfielder, or like he did against Southampton, where you bring off Bettel and bring on Ashley Young, which still don't understand. He did seem to get the subs right, and it was like-for-like, which it did help us in the end. But yeah, it was. We've won. That's all we can say. Get going. We're off now, and that's all we could ask for. I mean, one thing
sky's the limit.
Yeah, one thing I do have to point out is for people tweeting about our new ground, saying that the roof leaks and that our new ground has flooded. Do they not realise it's not fully built yet?
Yeah,
and I think that there are little holes in the ceiling. They are meant to be there because we're still constructing it. So to say our new ground isn't built for purpose and is flooding, it's not ready yet.
It does currently have holes in it, though. Do you know? So I see where you're coming from, but it does technically have holes in the roof. That is kind of a statement of fact. I know you're probably going to fix them, but I thought you were going to fix your financial troubles too, and
Oh, so mean. We've got Charlotte, didn't you? She's fighting for you, Rebecca. Leave Rebecca alone. She's here now. And another Rebecca champion. Dreety's in, and she's late today. I mean, what is going on here, Dreety? I thought we had words. We had words last time, and you were on time last week. and I gave you all the praise, and you just let us down again. Let us down again, Treaty. But thank you for joining us. And I also saw as well, Sean's come in. Sean's made it, and he's sorry as late as all these late people. We shall punish you. I shall just violently wrap you on the wrists when we see you next. But as long as you've subscribed and you voted on the FCAs for us, it's okay. You can be late. You can be late this evening. And of course, Charlotte is here, and she hopes everybody is well. And Sean said, Man United stadium's already built, and that's leaking. So don't worry. Just don't worry. And Charlotte just digging in there, just saying they're never late for the lower league podcast. I wouldn't be late for that either. That is where the crazy cats are at. And the Mr. Arsenal podcast is here as well. Everybody's coming in now. This must be like the time to start, I think. But Treaty's going to be here next time. We'll see. I'm not here next week. Next week is I'm taking my wife away for my 10th wedding anniversary. Nice. So you'll have the treat of Samuel, I've got no doubt. But I mean, on your defense, Rebecca, you did mention you had Malenko back, Braithwaite, Tarkovsky. You still got Grandad Young out on the right wing, the ironically named Ashley Young. Were you feeling a bit more confident with at least 3 of your 4 there?
Yeah, a lot more. We didn't have James Garner having to fill in as right back or Ashley Young on the left. It's just Jared did have a few moments, but he was just warming up into the match. Like he's not played this season. And yeah, it was just good to have that partnership back. And I think everyone at the end was just thrilled that Jared played. He did a full 90. And then there was just lots of pictures of him happy, like being back at Everton. So yeah, it was good. And to say we only conceded 1 is a lot better than what we have been conceding. So yeah, it's always good.
Well, you scored goals and you didn't lose. Look at that. I think in football, scoring goals and not losing, that's pretty much the pinnacle of what you can reach. And you're there. So you can't do any better. That is the best you can ask for is what Everton gave you. We've got in the chat, Arsenal podcast, ask if any Saints fans around. As long as we're going to be nice, you can reply because Jay is here. He is going to talk us through the Spurs victory. That is coming. Don't worry, people. We're gonna move on. Now we've basked in the glory of one part of Liverpool.
That's probably the most shine that Everton's got on a mainstream podcast in a very long time, isn't it?
Do you know what? We always share the love here. We always share the love. Rebecca. The thing is, Rebecca hasn't wanted to have a long time on Everton so far. We had a little bit of like perking up last week, with the new ownership.
Yeah,
and the ticket that was nice.
Yeah.
But no, I think we let you bask in it. There's been a good 50 minutes of just basking in the warm glowing glow of an Everton victory. But we'll switch over from the blue side to the good side of the Mersey. Only joke, Rebecca. The other side. We'll say the other side. But we have got Damon here. Is from multiple Liverpool podcasts and content creation for Liverpool feeds and threads and the like. So thank you for joining us, Damon. And we'll start on the game. Wolves 1, Liverpool 2. How did that one make you feel?
Well, we got the goals and we didn't lose, didn't we? So it's pinnacle, like you said. So that's
Done.
it.
Football completed.
It wasn't convincing, was it? Though it wasn't convincing. I think it's one of them games where I said it on Twitter. I said one of them games where you just get the 3 points and just run. If I'm honest, it's a difficult time right now as Liverpool because we're playing well, we're looking good, but then we've got some tough fixtures coming up. So it's like, do we get excited to be in top of the league, or do we just, be a bit more humble about things? But it's nice to be top of the league.
Yeah, I never get excited until like the last couple of games.
It's really hard because you do want to get excited. I'm excited for slots fitting in perfectly. He's playing some good football against Wolves. We played some good football at times, but again, we look quite easy to get at, and I think a better team would have got at us, which is quite scary. Even like in that Merseyside derby, we haven't got that not so long away, and I'm even afraid of that. I mean, if Everton start picking up some wins now, I mean, look at Rebecca, she's absolutely chimming right now, but if she picks up some win, get some form up, a Merseyside derby is a Merseyside derby. So. I'm happy being top, but I'm quite wary at the moment. I'm quite wary.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the game, and it's been. I've sort of been a bit reserved about
that's
how
perfect word.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Mr. Arsenal podcast said it's not worth getting excited yet. Matchday 30 onwards, which is, ironically, normally as well when Arsenal start to fall apart. So I'm not having to dig back. But I mean, yeah, for Liverpool at the moment, I think I'm a bit the same as in. I think Slot did what I thought he would do, which is slow the pace a little bit, drop that high line down a little bit so he can be a little bit more solid across the back line and in midfield. But because I don't think we've got that urgent attack all the time, it's leaving that space for teams to come at us. I mean, the big feedback and a lot of the comments that we've seen on Twitter about Szoboszlai. How are you feeling about Szoboszlai at the moment?
Quite disappointed. He was one player that we brought in. I thought, hang on a second, we've got a player here, and he's not really living. A little bit last year, started last year, he started playing well, and people were saying, "Oh, Gerrard comparisons," weren't there? They actually were saying Gerrard comparisons, but he's not picked up that form, has he, this season? That form that we're needing to pick up, and he's just seems to be like out of ideas. I don't know if it's just you, it's just me, but he seems to be out of ideas. I'd rather Harvey Elliott come in, but he's not fit. That's the problem. No. He's got no competition, and that's where complacency kicks in. When you've got no one pushing for your place, it's easy to be complacent.
Yeah, I've not known. I don't know what to think about him at the moment. I think we could have done with another midfielder, but I mean, in regards to Slot as a manager, how are you feeling at the moment?
I'm happy. I'm happy because he's come in. You know what? The best thing about him, he says it how it is. Yeah. And I love that. I wish Klopp was a little bit like that at times, where we needed him to say, "Oh, hang on, you shouldn't be. You should, don't protect this. Just say how it is to us." And I think that's the best part of Slot. And go on, mate.
No, I was going to say because as a Spurs fan, my aim going into this season, my logic was, okay, Liverpool had Klopp last season. They achieved X number of points. New manager coming in, difficult for them to achieve the same number of points, right? So I said, okay, maybe they're going to be 3 to 5 results worse off. Yeah. And it's funny because the season started and it hasn't actually proved or disproved my theory so far. Because the games that you played, like Wolves gave away a ridiculous goal just after they got level. I feel like if Wolves had stayed level for a few more minutes, it could have been a tricky last 20 with do you stick or do you twist? So, okay, cool. The Palace game, people will say it's an anomaly, but like if you look at the fixtures Liverpool have had, it's a bit like Chelsea's coming up on the horizon, right? I think, and that's for me, that's a big game to see what Liverpool are looking like this season. I'm like, because Chelsea, they're doing their thing. They're kind of like, we can't really mock them anymore. They're doing it. So for me, watching Liverpool, Szoboszlai doesn't move me. He just doesn't move me. I'm not impressed by him. I don't think he's a bad player, but I'm not impressed by him. He's not a top player, a needle-moving difference maker for a team like Liverpool. I've been watching the Salahs and the Manes and the Coutinhos and, Bobby and, they're needle movers. He's not a needle mover. He's a good, nice-to-have player in the squad who can do well from time to time. And this whole, tactical setup and things, I've not seen a team, matchup makes games. I've not seen the matchup where I've been like, okay, this team's going to expose Liverpool. Like, but Brentford, you really showed, like, I watched you against Brentford and I thought, yeah, this team knows what they're doing. Then I watched you against like Forest, and I was like,
no. Out of ideas, what are
we trying to hit? What are we trying to achieve here, Slot? Do you know what I mean? So interested. I'm intrigued. Bookmarks this conversation to see where Liverpool go in the next 5 games.
You're saying what we think, though. That's the thing. You're actually saying what they think. I think sometimes we can become predictable. And Forest got onto us quite early on in that match, where just two backs of four, and they can get past us. We don't have any, unless McAllister pushes a little bit more forward. We don't have a person that can put that pass in that can break down that sort of barrier. And Forest on the counter absolutely killed us. Absolutely killed us. And there was a few times they should have scored.
How do you feel about McAllister this season? Because I feel like Gravenberch has taken a lot of his shine in that kind of midfield, being the ticker over kind of thing. He's been all right for me. Have you been impressed? Do you think there's been a drop off? Is he the same McAllister you enjoyed last season? What do you think?
It's not the same one because he's not playing in the same position, if that makes sense. The saying that Gravenberch is the sixth, but he's not. If you actually watch the match, McAllister's the more defensive of the two players, and McAllister's not a defensive player. And when Endo came in last year, we saw the best of McAllister. We saw him go forward, but now Gravenberch is doing that sort of thing. He's sort of stepped back a little bit and let Gravenberch do his thing. I like McAllister. He's a very good player that can play it anywhere across the midfield, but I think he's wasted. That's why we needed that defensive midfielder to allow McAllister to go forward or allow Gravenberch to do their thing. He's sort of sacrificed his game a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, because I agree with you because we need that CDM, that player in there. Gravenberch can do what he's doing, and then McAllister steps into his Szoboszlai at the moment, and then I think we'd see a bit more creativity. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was really pissed off when we didn't make that midfield side. I'm not a big fan of it's this guy or no guy. I don't like that because it's arrogant, short-sighted thinking, and I was really annoyed with we're going to do stuff in August, let him bed in his players, because I thought Slot's not an idiot. He would have looked at Liverpool before he came, so he would have known what is needed beforehand. He doesn't need to have all that time, because if managers go through that presentation when they do their interview and they all say, this is what I think the team can do, this is what I think we're going to need. So he would have had all of that at the start. So I am a bit knocked off. And would you go back in for Zubimendi in January after he said he doesn't want to come, and then it turns out where he's at doing crap?
You'd have to take a lot of ego away from me, wouldn't you, to do that? You'd have to. That's hard, isn't it? Because if he's the player that you need, then fair enough. But that's like it's proper fun the club into turmoil where it's like he's had it off basically. And if we go back for him, it's quite muggy. I don't know, mate. Honestly, it depends on how he plays. If we went back for him, he's got to be outstanding. Straight from the bat. None of this spreading in. If he's turning us down for mountains, right, then he's got to come out of the traps as soon as he signs for us.
Could you imagine he comes in and then he's garbage for a couple of games?
Oh, he won't get away with it. He won't get away with it. There's no way.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, and I'm in a side with Damon, and as you said, Jay, it is a bedding in period, and I don't think we've seen what we're up to yet. And again, it's only 6 games in to Slot's Liverpool career.
You say that, but some data is better than no data. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so the people that were saying he was going to struggle in the summer with no data. I mean, we've only got 6 games of data, but it's some data for us to work off. So I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I was watching Kanate, for example. And it's I was laughing because it was like his mistake was so funny. It was like he just stopped playing. He was just like,
controller broken. Just turns off.
Do you know what I really like? I like the fact that Slot called him out for that. I'm not sure if you saw Slot's interview.
Yeah, I think I saw the interview when he was joking around about like the player of the match,
didn't he? Yeah.
Slot's like, did you see it was like the best jokes have a layer of seriousness underneath it. So he's like, you better book your ideas, mate. But then Quansah made his own mistake the other week, so it's not like the understudy is raring to go. But yeah, no, I like Slot. Like you said, he speaks his mind, and he's gloriously blunt from a Dutch POV. So you know, I see that. I love that for him.
I do like that. And Claire's asking, how many times can you say data in one sentence? Did you count it?
Ask Michael Edwards. He's got the world record for it at the moment.
Data. I mean, I'm giving for me. I mean, I'm happy to see the season and not cast a judgment or aspersion on Slot until the end of the season. I'm not like one of those that he needs to build his team and have all of his players. I think he just needs a period of time, and then you can really sort of judge the guy, because a good coach just shouldn't have to rely on just bringing players in. They should coach the team that they've got, and but we'll see. But I'm with you. It's nice to be top. I'm not getting overtly excited. I think my prediction, and this might upset you, Jay, but I did predict Arsenal to win this season, and I did. I actually put City as third though, because at the time I thought they were going to get
third behind who?
Liverpool,
obviously. Who would be seconds? Because
I thought Liverpool. You know, a bad season for Liverpool was going to be second.
Ooh.
That's what I thought. I did say second.
You think Liverpool seconds? You see, so you've seen enough from your side, and you've seen not enough from City for you to say we're finishing above them.
Do you know what? My thoughts for City were, I did know that they were going to have their trial this season, and in my head, I'm thinking that is going to have an impact. Of some, whether they get off or get not, I think it's going to be a distraction and be impactful enough for them to take to fall away a little bit. But I think Rodri's done that for us. I think he's done enough to sort of spoil that. And Mr. Arsenal's enjoying that. He thinks they're going to win the season, and we'll see. We'll come on to them in a minute.
We are in that time period though where we do this like almost every other season when City, they've not fully warmed up, they're not locked in. Now Rodri's injury has happened in this period when we're always like, oh well, you know, City, they don't quite look like they looked last season. You know, it's not quite, you know, the XG isn't XGing like it used to. And I'll be like, you know, so I'll be looking at it. And then week 20, they're like, okay, right, time to pull out. We've given the Premier League a glimpse of what it was. Like, Narnia, that's cool. Don't worry about it because we're locking in now. And you guys are all going to cry by week 38. And because Rodri's got injured early, but no, like, he finds a way. Last season, KDB was injured a lot. So far this season, I was looking, KDB's not really played. Foden's not played. We lost Rodri. Rodri even missed the first, like, 3-4 games. So I think Arteta did something in that game to Pep. Like, after the game, the way he's talking and things like that, I feel like he's looking at this like, if this is his last season at City, you know, if I am going to have these kind of injuries and these kind of situations, this would be a very notable victory for the league, you know, well, for him to win the league. So I've not seen enough from Liverpool yet to say you're going to finish above City, but I think you still look too good for the rest of the Premier League. But I think you still look better than the other 17 teams.
I mean, Charlotte in the chat, she still thinks City's going to win it. And this last podcast said if they can't find a number 6 in January, that could be huge for them. City have just got a squad though. They're just annoyingly good. And Charlotte said they've got Haaland, who's just a machine. He upsets me. He's a little bit too good for football, really, isn't he? And Claire thinks Arsenal are going to win the league, but she also says she loves Spurs. So figure that one out.
Your mother has excellent taste in daughters and football teams. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, thank you.
But you're letting it down, Claire, by bigging up Arsenal. You know, she's going to be disappointed in you, but you know, I still love you, so don't worry. We all still love you here. But I mean, Rebecca, you haven't said anything nice about the Liverpool game. We all gave you platitudes. Do you have any input, positive input you want to put in on Liverpool winning the game and sitting top of the league, representing your city?
I don't know. I mean, you won a game of football. It's just. I don't know.
Charlotte said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. You stick true to your principles, but just remember though, all 18 minutes. Well, it wasn't 15 minutes I gave you. 50 minutes, but you deserve it, Rebecca, because she's here. She's here all the time, thick and thin, and she's giving it large. So I'll let you off. I'll let you off that one. But it was nice to be able to chat Liverpool for more than 5 minutes, because normally, as the only Liverpool fan, I feel I'm the host. I feel a little bit greedy if I push the Liverpool agenda too much. But thanks for picking this up, chaps. I enjoyed that, getting a little bit of Liverpool analysis. But as you will notice, everybody will notice, no United fans here this week. No, we've got Sam, we've got Grimmy, we've got Hannah, He didn't come on. But what we have got Jamie to talk about Man United 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Jay, how did that one make you feel?
It was, you know what, like it's, first of all, like we were doing all right against United. I think it's been like 4 games since we've lost to them now. But United away is always one of those places where they can still do you occasionally if you're not on it, like just like voodoo or something. So I went into the game thinking, we should beat these guys. I think we were a better team. I think we're better organized. And then Son was injured going into the game. So then it's like, it's an attack of Werner, Solanke, Johnson. If that was Bournemouth's attack, I would be like, oh, okay. As my attack, it's like, come on, lads, we can do it. So, we went into the game. Great performance. I thought the team really delivered. I thought as good as we were good, United were bad, but we made them look bad, as it were, because they played Liverpool, they played Brighton. The amount of chances we created and the opportunities in relation was combined. You could put the Brighton chances and Liverpool chances together, and it still wouldn't equal the chances that we had against them. So with that being said, I'm not going to be so super critical of United. I think, data says we're the best pressing team in the league, probably one of the best pressing teams in Europe. United's a team that's going to try and pass the ball through from the back. So, it plays into our game plan a little bit. So from that point of view, big win for us. I think Spurs haven't won against a good team for a while. Take those air quotations, however you think they were intended. So beating United was good because, we played Newcastle this season and we lost. We played Arsenal this season, we lost. We were in danger of becoming kind of like flat track bullies. We can beat the bottom 10, but can you beat the top 10? So all of this is good. Really good performances from the general team. Van der Ven, incredible assist. We've invested a lot of money in English talent like Solanke and Johnson, and when you invest that kind of money, especially in non-sexy names, the Premier League for me is a very first impression league. So people really care about that you hit the ground running. So Brennan's had a bit of stick, started to get his form. Solanke, £60 million. People were looking at him saying that's a lot of money. So he scored 3 and 3. So all in all, just a very, very solid day's work. Not getting too excited because we got Brighton away next game. And that's another game I'm looking at, like, we need to win this game. Like, we need to... From my point of view, I think as a fan, it's just like I'm enjoying the team. I understand it's not linear, so it's just up and down. But, big win against United. The top players performed. And, we just try, essentially, for me, to just try and close the gap on the top 3 teams, whilst we're competing with the Villas and the Chelseas and, all of those teams in that little bracket who are trying to be the best.
Quite a frustrating time, isn't it, at the moment, to be Spurs, because you've got so much competition coming up, which hasn't been there for a while for that other team competing for top 4, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that when you look at like Liverpool and stuff, it's interesting because I always make this analogy that I say that like you've got hope or expectation, right? So for me, Liverpool should be a club that should be expected, not hoping, because teams like Tottenham, we're hopers. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, do you guys want to live in our apartment block? Because you can live in our apartment block if you want, because this is the apartment block of hope, not expectation. So I mean, down there in the penthouse down the road, that's the expectation place. And for me, I feel like, going into these kind of games, it's difficult to expect to beat United a year into, constantly in terms of these things. So, yeah, I just look at the United game and like just in general thinking Brighton away, big game. Looking at you look at the top teams as well. Arsenal, we played Arsenal now. We played Newcastle away. We played United. So we've played a few teams now. We've played a couple of decent teams, at least like 3 top 10 teams. yeah, I'm interested to see how we get on over the next few weeks. But the Bruno thing as well was interesting because I feel like from one angle it looked a bit like a red, but then from another angle it looked very harsh. But I don't think it makes a lot of difference because I think I'm sure you'll go on to Josh. United were quite terrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of chat. There's a lot of comments in the chat, and there's a lot in this game to break down. And also, we haven't had a Spurs fan on. I can't remember the last time we had a Spurs fan on, and I find them quite an interesting team. So there's a lot I want to sort of dissect and get into. I mean, as a sidebar, we've got Kieran in. Good evening, Kieran. Thanks for joining us, mate. And Russ, good evening. Let's hope you're doing well. We'll start off with the Bruno red card then, because we've got Claire's confused me a little bit. So she said she saw people saying it wasn't a read. I think she wasn't a red because he slipped. And I love giving Claire shit, by the way, for your typos, because she'll give them for me, no worries. He didn't slip into the challenge, but slipped through it and studs above the ankles, all red all day. And then she said wasn't a red. I think she was correcting herself from the wasn't a read to wasn't a red. So I'll give you that one. We've got, what was the other comment? Lucy, a United fan, was saying the red card was harsh, but fair. Graham was saying he thinks it's a red. He slips and stretches the leg up, catches him shin high. It's a dangerous play. And Simon's saying that it should never have been a red. I mean, we'll go around the table. I mean, I'll let you know. I think it was a red personally, because even though he slipped, he flung a leg out like a dick. So if you try to kick someone, you're going to get sent off. I mean, Rebecca, how would you do? Red for you, or do you just not care because it's United?
No, it was a red. I mean, I don't care if it was United, but yeah, it was a red. Yeah, like studs are up. Yeah, he slipped, as you said, but the studs are high and he's made contact. So yeah, it's a red.
You the same, Damon?
What am I going to say about Bruno Fernandes being a red card? I think it's the football. I think it's just the football gods giving him a red card anyway, because it's Bruno. So, but yeah, I do. I think it was. I don't think it was an absolute cynical foul, but it's definitely a red card. But it is a red, if that makes sense. Not an absolute, get him off straight away. But
it was petulant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was quite disappointing. I mean, a comment I did miss. Before I crack on with it, I will say, great, we're seeing all the United fans in therapy, but Charlotte did point out our Sam is normally here. United win, lose, or draw. He is indeed. I think it just happens that he's not on this evening. And in fairness to him, I don't think his stress levels could take it, because it's been quite harsh and difficult for him being a United fan of the pod for a while. But I mean, for me on the red card, I think it was just petulant. I mean, watching the game, I mean, Jay, you would have watched the game closer than me. It certainly looked like the game was just getting away from them and away from him in particular, who's had a number of bad games, and he was just head gone, surely, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think when I was watching the game, I feel like there's a frustration because obviously how Spurs play as well. You know, we're going to try and monopolize the ball. We're going to rotate it. You're going to have to do a lot of your defensive duty. I think people are right. It's petulant. It reminded me a little bit. Do you remember Beckham? And Beckham's little kick out at Simeone kind of thing. It's soft, but it's kind of like if you're giving the referee a decision, you give him a decision.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at these things. It's like you're in the lap of the gods in terms of the decision the ref takes. You've given the ref a decision to make. You can't be annoyed if he chooses to send you off. Me, little harsh, but very grateful because at 1-0, still, we're still, I don't want to say we're Spursy, but we have a certain nervousness at 1-0 up. Like we saw it against Leicester in our first game of the season. The lights were a little bright for us on the first game. So very grateful that he got sent off. He's going to miss 3 games now. For me, that's quite worrying because when I watch United, they've lost McTominay. I know he wasn't the most loved person in the fan, but he guaranteed you goals. He gave you goals. So they've lost 10 goals from McTominay. Now, you've got players like Mount, and his career hasn't got going at all at United. And to me, I look at like a Donny van der Beek, and I see, okay, you spent 40 million on Donny van der Beek. You spent 60 million on Mason Mount. That's 100 million of player that money that you've, I don't want to say wasted because it sounds harsh on the play, but you've wasted that money. And now Bruno's going to be out for 3 games now, and maybe Mainoo's out. So now it's like, okay, Eriksen, Casemiro. I'm like, that's like 66 years old. You know, like this is the pace and power Premiership. Like Eriksen came back from the dead not to have to track runners in the Premier League. Do you see what I mean? Like this is so. Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what United do next, because this is normally the point in time when the manager starts thinking, shit, my job. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, my job, like my job's in trouble here. So he starts. This is when you're going to start seeing random things. And Bruno's out for 3 games. Mount's going to start. Like that. That should be a testament. You spent 60 million on Mount. You spent 80 million on Anthony, and neither of these men make your first team. That's 140 million pounds on players that you don't want to play. Like that's insane to me. So yeah, difficult times coming for United, I think.
I mean, Lucy's saying in the chat that Bruno is petulant. He's always petulant, and it riles here. And Lucy concurs with your spending. It is crazy. Anthony at 80 million is mental. And then again, the money on Mason Mount at that point, I think that was almost because it was rumoured he might go to Liverpool, and they were like, bollocks to that, we'll have him, and they sort of jump in. Russ is saying McTominay is better than Mount. Said it. He said it. Historically, Simon said you can't be mean to Mason, or Charlotte's in the chat, because there was a boy toy, but she can't defend him overmore. She's over him now. He's going to be gutted, Char. Once he watches this back, finds out you're over, Mason is going to be gutted. But
I saw him posting thirst traps on Instagram. I was like, he's like, what's it? Yeah, because he got injured in the game, right? And he shared a picture. He's like the doctors behind him. He's grayed the picture out, but aesthetics, obviously. And he's like doing the needling and what the hell is sewing, fixing him up, whatever. And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm fine, cool." And I was just thinking, like, you lost 3-0. I don't care if you're okay. Like, what do you mean? Like, as in, like, what are we doing here? And I just remember thinking, like, when with Mount, because obviously there's a Spurs fan, Dele Alli, so he had quite a big drop from where he was to where he is now. But if you look at Mount, he's not played. I feel like I'm picking on Mason Mount, but I'm like, he's not really played regular football for the last 2 years. He's on a £250,000 contract a week.
It's good life, isn't it?
Yeah, hey, listen, if you can co-sign that life, 5-6 year contracts of Man United, number 7 shirt, life is good. The people that okayed that deal, less so, but yeah, I'm just so surprised at, like, United are in this position after winning the FA Cup and hearing all of the relative plaudits that Ineos were getting for like, I don't know,
changing the wheel and everything.
Yeah, having a 4-4-2 in the boardroom. Like, I don't know. We'll see what they did, but still.
I mean, Shah enjoyed the first trap. She won't lie, but she's over him. I mean, we have said, and Shah's saying no, Lucy saying no, Shah, keep being over him. I mean, it was someone at the time I thought was just a bizarre signing. I mean, we've said it a lot, and Sam, in fairness, our resident United fan calls, he has said that it just didn't make sense because he didn't fit anywhere in that midfield, and they're all quite discombobulated it's like they just sign players, It is very strange. But I mean, Spurs, I want to I'm intrigued by Spurs. I mean, I'm a big one fan. I say it a lot on the podcast. Sometimes fans of teams, where you mentioned about, the apartment and your penthouse, I think fans need to appreciate and understand who their team are and where they sit and where their level of expectation should be. And you mentioned expectation, hope and expectation. And Ange is expecting to win something this season because that's his bag. And I'm assuming he said that because if he doesn't, he's going to do a Mourinho and blame Spurs. I mean, do you think he's picking up anything this season?
I think I think first of all, like the way I look at it is, it's difficult to win. Yeah, like you guys know, Liverpool went what 15, 16 years winning just one trophy in that time period before kind of Klopp came, and then you had a good run of trophies again. Like getting over the final line is not a given. I've never thought of it as a given. I've never thought that you're entitled to win trophies. All I really want is my club to make good decisions that make you competitive. I appreciate the fact that we're like the fifth biggest revenue team. So if the teams that all have more money than you make good decisions, why am I entitled to finish above you? I'm not really. So that's the kind of logic I always have going into the season. I try and enjoy the games. Because I look at trophies versus real, like in time matches. So when you win a trophy, I think you get a lot of excitement, dopamine, enjoyment in one go. But when you're good across the season, you get that kind of same level of dopamine, but it's dripped across game by game by game by game by game. So you don't get it in one big hit. So, but you enjoy the season. So yeah, United fans last season will have hated the season, but will have got that big hit of enjoyment of winning the FA Cup. And then at the end of the season, you'll be like, "Oh, we had a better season." No, you had a really good moment at the end of the season, but you were thoroughly miserable for the rest of it. So when you look at Ange, when you want to win at Spurs, like a team like Spurs, you have to want to be there. I think that's even as Rebecca, you'll understand as an Everton fan and stuff like that. Sometimes you'll get managers who genuinely feel like they get the club and want the club to progress. And then you get other managers who are good managers, but you know that if a better, bigger club would come knocking, then maybe they'll be off. So to me, I'm like, Ange feels like a manager who understands he's been given an opportunity to manage at a big club in the Premier League, but we needed him at the time. So, like, for him to get a Tottenham job, we had to kind of be on our knees as a club. Do you know what I mean? And we're like, please come save us. We need someone with your vision and approach. And the thing for me is he gave the fans hope. After years of Mourinho and Conte, it was a different style of play, more aggressive, more front foot, and so the teams will appreciate that, and I think the club as a whole and the fan base in general, we're enjoying the way forward, and we think it's gonna pay dividends. So, are we gonna win this season? We've got 3 good competitions to go at. We've got Europa, where I think we're one of the favorites. I think we can go deep in the competition. League Cup, we got City next round, of course. So we'll see how that goes in FA Cup. So I think we can win a trophy this season. My only other thing is Ange normally wins a trophy in his second season, but maybe it takes a little bit more time because of the quality of the Premier League and the quality of the opposition that you're managing against. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It was an interesting statement to make, and I thought, you're not in Kansas anymore, mate. This is a different kettle of fish. I quite like you guys for the Europa League. I mean, if he was to focus on that at the detriment a little bit to your league form, would you take that?
I think for this season, yeah. This season, I'm very much about the cups. I'm very much about trying to win something. I'm not like, I still want to play Champions League football, and I still want to play at the top level of that's because fans sometimes this season to be in the Europa at the stage of our development, and if you said to me you finish 7th but you win like at the FA Cup or Europa League, I'll take that today. Like no issue whatsoever. Because for me, I think the fan base, our fan base is jaded. So, they need to win something.
You don't say.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're thirsty, you can drink toilet water. Do you know what I mean? I think like we anything, give us a League Cup on penalties against Walsall or so, anything. Like we're thirsty out here. So, I don't think that we can begrudge that kind of trophy, any kind of trophy, to breed a culture of winning. But some of us have our eyes on bigger prizes. But like I said, if you're thirsty, bathrooms over there, grab a cup. You know what I mean?
You're basically Bear Grylls, aren't you? You're basically Bear Grylls of football, aren't you? Just eat or drink anything.
Exactly, anything will do.
Yeah.
I'm not quite a piss, but yeah, you see,
Well, needs must what the devil wants, and it is. It's our level of expectation. I think you've got to know who. I mean, I've like West Ham confuse the balls off me all the time. Like we should be doing this, and I watched a video like a Stoke clip the other day, and Stoke thought they should be doing this, and that's where they are now. I think it is. It's managing and understanding expectation. I mean, before we'll move on because otherwise we'll be here forever. But Damon, what we didn't touch on before I ask Rebecca to talk to us about Chelsea, what we didn't touch on was Slot. What's your expectation this season? Do you have an expectation? Do you want to win something, or are you just looking at performance or bedding in?
I think it's still the same as it was at the start of the season. Top 4, and I don't want to go below 3rd. Because we were 3rd last year. I think we're, like Jay said, I think we're better than the rest. So we shouldn't really be dropping in terms of position. And just some good cup runs, possibly. If we can win a cup, even better. But it's Slot's first season, so I'm not expecting to win something. I'm sort of definitely expecting to win next season. But this season, let him build his style of playing and get it embedded. And then if something comes, doesn't it? But we definitely need top 4 and definitely a good run in the cup at least.
You're making it sound rational. Oh,
at least, yeah. And it sounds
Premier League
so,
fan base.
It sounds so. It does sound so like other clubs don't get that sort of opportunity to say that, do they? Like, we're happy with just top 4, but that's what Liverpool should be about. Like Jay said, the expectation of hope. Liverpool Football Club is built on success, so top 4 is bare minimum, really.
Yeah.
Especially after getting it last season.
Well, I'm with you. I have a hope of where we're going to be and an expectation. I just want a good season. I just want a good season and not to go backwards. But moving on, we won't linger too long on the Premier League now because I'm sure you've all got families and places to go. And Rebecca's got uni in the morning, so we won't keep you too long. But Chelsea 4. Brighton 2, records being set with 4 first-half goals by Cole Palmer. Rebecca, how did that game make you feel?
I mean, you might as well just say Cole Palmer versus Brighton at this point. I think that's like the best way to describe that match. Yeah, I mean, 4 goals in 20 minutes. Wasn't it? They had 3 goals disallowed as well, so it could have been 7 or 8 by the end of it if it had have gone that way. So fair play to Chelsea. Brighton did take the lead within, I think it was 7 minutes, but it's one of them where Chelsea tries to play out from the back. And we all know your hatred towards that.
I hate playing out from the back.
No. It's one of them. If it doesn't work first time, don't do it again, because that's how Brighton got their second. I mean, Brighton's high line just couldn't handle Chelsea and Cole Palmer this match, and I think it showed with the first goal. Again, every team that have played out from the back, it just hasn't seemed to work quite well, especially in this match, and they were just able to capitalise on it. And I mean, fair play to Palmer, become the first Premier League player in history to score 4 goals before half-time. But yeah, I mean, Brighton they had a few chances, but they just couldn't get back into it. And then I think it was just, before Palmer got the 4th, you could have thought, could Brighton get a 3rd, see if it can change it about, but there were no stopping him, and I think it was just fair play to him and Chelsea. But yeah, it was an interesting one. I didn't expect a 4-2 going into it. I didn't really expect Cole Palmer to get all 4. I don't know what you expect, though, because it's Chelsea at the end of the day, and then you've always got that, we have to do a bit of rotation because of the squad and everything, but you've got an 80-man squad. I'd love to be able to have squad rotation like Chelsea do. Could you imagine? I think they've got about 8 left backs. We've got 1.
I think you could rotate, Rebecca. The problem is when you rotate, you'd be losing to Bromley FC. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, our rotation includes our under-21s, which they were winning 3-0. They drew 3-3 with a 91st minute goal from Reading. So they take after it. Senior squad to them, lot.
Nice.
Yes, it's nice you're breeding that style in at the lower level to bring up to the top team. I mean, that says it. Chelsea quietly doing their business. They look dangerous. I mean, all the goals in the first half, they were all one man. But I mean, for you, Rebecca, do they look dangerous, or does one player look really dangerous?
I think Cole Palmer is, I don't want to say carrying, but he is like there as like the main one to focus on. I do feel as though without him, Chelsea wouldn't be the team that they have been attacking wise. And I feel as though they're designing their attack and their team around Palmer now to be able to be as dangerous as they are. So I feel as though if you were to take him out of the equation, they could then struggle. But it's one of them. I feel like they have started to settle with what they want from their team and what they want from the players now.
I thought they were washed. I predicted them for like 12th or something this season. I thought they would be seeing the end of Chelsea. I mean, Damon, we've got Chelsea, I think, in 2 games' time. I think Crystal Palace is our next in the league, which I hate. I hate playing Crystal Palace. I really do my tits in. But I think we've got them like the game after or in 2 or 3 games' time. How are you feeling coming up against Chelsea?
They're a really weird, unknown prospect out there at the moment. I mean, Rebecca just said it perfectly there, where you really don't know what to expect from them. They've got the talented players, but then they're now starting to show a little bit more form. They did it until end of last season, didn't they, under Pochettino, which shocked everyone when they sacked him. The fact that they actually picked up form and they look good. But yeah, they've got some very, very talented players. Madueke is a very, very, very good player. Sancho's coming in and is sort of comfortable there. No, it's not Man United, so he looks comfortable. They've got João Felix, they've got Pedro Neto, and got some and Nicholas Jackson's actually bagging goals as well. So
I know
they're a dangerous team. They're a dangerous team. So I'm not going into that game thinking I'm not making a cup of tea anyway. Watching that game, I'm relaxed when I make a cup of tea before the match. But this one, I think it's one of them ones I'm stood up for the full 90.
It's at home, which
it is at home. That's the only thing that gives me a bit more relaxing.
I just don't know. I'm probably one of the most nervous Liverpool fans. I can't watch a game sitting down. My legs shaking until we're sort of 3 goals clear. I can't relax, and I blame that on Klopp a little bit because
Rebecca, what's that like? What's that like? 3-0 up and not relaxing. I mean, I don't know.
2. We haven't got to 3 yet.
I'm unnerved. I'm unnerved by what they're doing. I mean, I don't follow Chelsea very closely this season, to be perfectly honest with you, because like I said, I dismissed them off the bat sort of quite foolishly. But I mean, they haven't really played big teams. I think Jay mentioned about who the teams have played. I don't think Chelsea have played anyone to be particularly stretched right now, and in a sense, we might be their barometer for progress. You think?
I think. So when I was watching Chelsea, I saw that obviously this weekend they were great. I think one thing that when I watch Chelsea is their good players are playing well, and football can be very simple when you do things like that. And the big thing about it is, for me, when I'm watching it, quite simplistically, it's you can't double up on players because the individual player you're working with requires your attention. So if you double up on Palmer, Madueke is free. If you double up on Madueke, then Palmer or Sancho is free. Jackson makes good runs. He's working the defenders. And then they've got Caicedo, who's doing his job. Fullbacks are doing well as well. To me, they look like a tidy side who are doing well. But even still within that, like you mentioned, the teams, they played Bournemouth away. They were very, very lucky to win that game. Yeah, so they, Bournemouth missed the penalty, late winner from Nkunku. So I think even as a Spurs fan, I obviously don't like Chelsea, but I have to praise them to say they look like they got it right with Maresca. But the thing for me is they have a lot of firepower. And I think when you have a lot of firepower, it can paper over the cracks when everything's not knitting together and some things are a little bit disjointed and you actually need time for the team to get to that level. You bring firepower, it can get you over the line, it can get you draws when you should be losing. It can get you wins when you should be drawing. So yeah, I think Chelsea look in a good position. But like you guys say, that Chelsea Liverpool game is a very big game for both sides. Like I'm incredibly intrigued to see which way that goes.
I mean, Simon's asked in the chat, why when Chelsea have Kepa, still have they loaned him out and are playing Sanchez? I don't understand why Chelsea do anything. It's no logic to it, is it really? They've just got players. They just have all of the players and all of the money. I think, let me just check. I can never remember if I've loaded my slides up or not. I think this is right and up to date for this weekend. I think we'll try and whiz through some of the other games. I mean, Ipswich Town 2, Aston Villa 2. I mean, did anybody catch up? Rebecca, did I ask you to note on that game? Because I can't remember. I didn't, so I won't pick on you then. But I know. I mean, Jake, did you catch any of the Ipswich Villa game? In Ipswich,
you know what? I actually watched a little bit because Villa have joined a growing list of teams on my hate watches.
They're in your gang now, aren't they?
Yeah, because the aspirationally, like, I'm a bit like, okay, these guys are good. So, like they've got like firepower and a good midfield and a progressive manager. This is nice to see.
And money.
So now, I'm watching them and I'm hating a little bit. And I thought Ipswich were good, a little bit championshipy. They still feel very like, I'm quite surprised that they spent that much money and they still feel so championshipy. Not saying they bought badly, but that's how you sometimes when you go up and you want to buy what you tend to end up buying lower of the table Premier League, top of the championship type players. Delap surprised me because we have Dane Scarlett at Spurs, and him and Delap were in the under 21s and under 20s together and stuff. So, and I kept an eye on him at Hull last season, and he didn't move me. I was watching him. I didn't think he was great, but he's another one of these players from that City development squad that they had, which also Morgan Rogers was from. They both scored this weekend, which was nice, which I didn't actually plan to say when I started talking, but my rambling led me to a pleasant place, so we moved. But yeah, no, I think Ipswich probably need to do a little bit more. They still seem quite easy to score against. Not stable. Is there 3 worse teams in the Premier League than them? I'm not sure.
I thought so at the start of the season. I'm not. I just don't know now. It's Wolves have surprised me this season. I was expecting a little bit more from Wolves, to be honest.
Can you look at who Wolves have played? Because I feel like Wolves might be a prisoner.
They've had
of their fixture list, maybe a little bit. Like I have a lot of love for Gary O'Neill. I'd hate to turn my back on him 6 games in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he has had a tough one. I mean, I'm looking. I think they played Arsenal, they played Chelsea, played Newcastle, and they played us, obviously. And I think was it Villa. Yeah, and they have.
That's a stinking fixture run. That's an absolutely stinking fixture list, to be fair.
And I'm sure, didn't they have an injury at the start of the season to a key player as well?
And they sold Kilman and Neto.
Yeah, I know Neto's a big miss because he's a player being wasted somewhere. Apparently in the 80th minute, still Bournemouth 3. Southampton 1. Spenny fan Chris keeping us up to date as he always does. And Simon said, watching Southampton tonight, you wouldn't be surprised if they get relegated. They're bloody awful, not just awful, bloody awful. And Simon verified there. Yeah, they're just dreadful. And I think the Mr. Arsenal podcast did mention Russell Martin needs to sort his team out if they're going to be doing anything. Other games we didn't cover was Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 1. Manchester City will always enjoy them not winning a game, and I'll just like to mock those cheating swines for not getting things that they should do. Treaty said she really wants Ipswich to do well this season. She really wants them. I like it. I love an underdog, but we shall see. But Arsenal what 4-2 against Leicester City. I think that I don't know, anybody can to interrupt me. I think that's more of a bad Leicester than a good Arsenal. I don't know what you're feeling, Damon.
Arsenal, they did look good, but those 2 cheap goals, the second one was amazing, but they are cheap goals to concede when they were dominating like that. But they're showing a little bit of a different mentality now, Arsenal. I don't know why. I don't know where it's come from, but because it's been up there twice in a row now. They're showing a bit that bounce back. Like last season, I think they were drawn 2-2. Yeah. We had it when we won the league. There were games where we just didn't look like losing. We even losing 2-0 or whatever. But we knew we were going to win that game. That's what it felt like. That winner were going to come, and then they scored another one afterwards anyway. And I think they got under City's skin as well. I don't know about Jay. I know he's a Tottenham fan, but I don't know if he feels that Arsenal got under City's skin. I think they did. And City dropping points straight after that says a lot for me.
So when Arsenal, because I really thought we were going to beat Arsenal. No Rice, no Odegaard, and it was quite a humbling defeat. Like, because it was like, oh, they came here without 2 of their best players, 2 out of their starting 3 midfielders, and they still beat us. But when the dust settled, I was like, that was a very mature performance from Arsenal. And I think that's what you're kind of getting at. They have a maturity now, where I saw them draw to Fulham last season 2-2. You can make a similar comparison of dominating a game, being ahead and being pulled back. And it was an own goal, but they forced their own luck. And I do think that, they've got a few injuries at the moment. They're ticking over. They have multiple ways to win a game. Like best set piece team in Europe. Like they're a machine at corners. Like when we were playing them, they get a corner, and I'm like, you're holding your breath like it's a 25-yard out free kick centrally. Like you're kind of worried. You're like, oh, okay. And they've got Gabriel making runs in like he's an NBA basketballer, slam dunking on all the players, and I'm like, what's going on here? So yeah, impressive sides. Arteta, I like Arteta because, like, I'm a big fan of competitive advantages, and this guy's trying to do everything. He gets a dog. He's like, hey, win the dog. Hey, come on, like we got a dog. It'll be like playing You'll Never Walk Alone from speakers, set piece coaches, dark arts. If I lose a duel, I'll be upset. Like, the guy does everything. So
I love the accent then.
Yeah. I was practicing it before I came on. I was like, if I get a chance to do my ancestral impression, make sure you nail it.
I do well.
But yeah, no, it's impressive victory for Arsenal. Like you said, they made it way more difficult than they needed to. Second goal was an absolute worldie from Justin. Just interested to see what they look like playing good teams without Odegaard, because they were quite defensive against City, but obviously some of that was because of the red cards. Quite defensive against Atalanta, quite defensive against Spurs. This set piece FC isn't going to bail you out every time. Well, maybe it will. I don't know, but like that's what I'm looking for when Arsenal start playing other good teams. The balance of defense to attack, what they're giving up. I'm intrigued, but they've had a lot of difficult fixtures. They've started the league well. I think they'd be, they're still unbeaten. I think they should be, very happy with their start, and I think they'll probably improve as the season goes on. But yeah, unfortunately, a very good team.
I think Arsenal will be a tougher game for us than City would be, just because of the way they played. I don't think it suits Slot.
I just don't know what I don't know what to expect at the moment when they come up to it, because I mean, as Jay said, I think Arteta's sort of just trying anything now. I think he's gone from this is the way that we play football and this is the way we're going to do it to, for fuck's sake, I just want to win. I'm just going to try anything. So we'll see. We shall see what happens. I mean, the next game we didn't come up with, Brentford won, West Ham won. I mean, West Ham are probably about 2 games away from giving David Moyes a call. Is he going to give him the bird this time? Who knows? We'll find that one out. And then Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 1. Fulham winning. Well done, Jimenez. He was in my FPL. I subbed him into my FPL this week for I can't remember who. another striker. But well, I mean, and as we mentioned, we spoke about Fulham in a bit last week. Just a team that are just silently performing well. I mean, for you, Jay, I mean, they're one that I wouldn't have expected to be challenging that sort of Spurs, Newcastle, Aston Villa. You know, you could almost throw United into your little gang, but I don't think they're there anymore. But that they must be a little bit unnerving because they're like really well run and they're just doing stuff really well, aren't they?
No, definitely. I think when you look at the Premier League nowadays, teams kind of have to structure themselves very, very well, and then you kind of get a season when you can kind of go for it. Yeah, like most teams like have a like you see Villa, you see Newcastle, they'll have a season where they're going to be like, right, we're going to spend loads of money, but we really need to finish in the top 6 or the top 4. Otherwise, in a year, 2 years time, we're going to have to sell a star. Everton tried it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, but still, by the same token, you'll see these teams, and it's difficult sometimes. Like you look at Fulham or something, and the stability that they get from the consistency of their team is what they're getting. And someone like a Smith Rowe coming in has really helped them, because he's a player that his stock went down because he wasn't playing. But I'm a big fan of how can you miss me if I don't go away, you know, and what he can do. And as a number 10, you know, you got the Eze's and stuff like that. I think at his best, he should be in that kind of bracket with those kind of players. You see players like Gibbs White getting England call-ups. He should be thinking, you know, before he started having injury issues, he was right there in England reckoning and kind of being around there. So a good demonstration of less is more. You know, just bringing in 1-2 players to an established bunch and then trying to, you know, help the team by improving incrementally. But be interesting.
I used to like Chris Coleman's Fulham team. It was quite steady Eddie, Papa Bouba Diop, one of my favorite player names.
Yeah, was that Dempsey and Zamora era?
I think was it
Boamarte?
Zach, was it Zach Knight in defence?
Yeah, Zach Knight sounds about right. Yeah.
I quite like that. I like that stability. And I mean, and in the chat, Graves in week 6, and Josh is still remembering to do his FPL team. I know last season I think I got to like game week 5 and I forgot all about it and ruined it for the rest of the season. Didn't make a change again. But not only am I remembering it, people, let me just double check myself. Not only am I remembering, I'm bossing it, bitch. I think in regards to the podcast, I think I am the highest placed member of the podcast team. I'm not. Lucas is 3rd, and Lucas is the bomb at the FPL. But 6, I'm 6. Look at that. I had game week 75 points. I think that's my best ever week. And I didn't play any triple captain or none of that shit. I'm just bossing it, baby. I'm just giving it stacks. But I think spending fans just said it's 4 minutes minimum injury time. I'm assuming Bournemouth are still leading Southampton. Bournemouth, another team that are just. They've been performing quite well. I think they've been a bit of a victim of the fixture list, but they're doing well, and I like it. I like a well run club. But I mean, that's the table. The table as it is. Only 6 games in. I'm not getting overtly excited at the moment. But if we want to freeze it in time and hold this forever, that's great. I think somebody said in the chat, Rebecca, Everton in nosebleed territory now. 16th, you've got to win out of that relegation zone. Yeah, there you go.
And look at those fly.
Someone's giving you wings, baby.
You're so close to being on Jay's hate watch. So close.
No.
A few points off.
I mean, like Everton are miles. Everton are miles off a hate watch. You know, I've got stuff to do. You know, if Everton are on the hate watch list, I might as well watch every fixture in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Oh, look at that.
I'm joking. Get Moisey back though. I think it's time. Just bring Moisey. If you're gonna play dice ball, you might as well play it with someone who's got an affinity for your city, right?
Yeah, we have been linked with quite a few with the new takeover happening. So,
how do you feel about the takeover, by the way?
I'm excited for it to hopefully have some financial stability, but you've always got the thought in the back of your head of, is this going to work? What's happening? Because of how long it's taken, and also the issues that we've had building up to this. You're always just going to have that little bit of you that's like, but. if we can get them in as quick as we can, get the money sorted out, and then the new ground next season, and we'll be off.
Oh, it's beautiful times.
Yeah. So
God,
fix the roof. That's first part.
By the time we've opened, they'll be all over that bitch, and there'll be guys up there with their plasters sorting it all out at the top. But I mean, that is the table as it is. We're not going to keep everyone all evening. We shall go through the European football and see what's happening everywhere else. We've got La Liga. There's been some interesting games this week. The first one that stands out to me was Osasuna Barcelona 4-2. 4-2 Barcelona, their first loss of the season against Osasuna, and it wasn't like a smash and grab either. It was quite a good victory. If you look statistically, the stats are sort of more possession-wise in regards to Barcelona, but chances created and attacking prowess, Osasuna doing bits, which is really interesting to see. Yamal still scoring. That young lad can't help himself. That's like that's his bag now. That's just what he's doing. But really interesting. The Madrid derby, Atletico and Real Madrid, 1-1. Obviously, ascending off Atletico, obviously. But what I don't get, 99th minute of extra time. What's the point? Why are you getting sent off in the 9th minute of extra time? That is just. I think someone thought it's the Madrid derby with Atletico. No one's got sent off yet. What's going on, people? But that happened. I think we're in the 90th minute live at the moment. Villarreal against Las Palmas, which is 2-1 to Villarreal. But any other than that is that the table is, as you would expect, it looks very old school, a Liga table with Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico in third, and Valencia still not. They're losing 3-0. I'm not sure if you guys follow the Liga much, but Valencia just like what is happening over there? They're just devastating.
I feel like they've just been like declining for a while. Like, and it's like eventually you get to critical mass where it's like the bad decisions that you're making now are compounding the bad decisions you made a few years ago, and then you start having fewer and fewer assets. I mean, I've not watched too many of these games. I caught some of the Real Madrid game when with Atletico, which was interesting. And also, I saw some of the goals from Barcelona, which had that disgusting ball drag by Brian Zaragoza for the second goal. If you didn't see it, watch it. It's delightful. And I don't normally use words like delightful, so that indicates how nice that goal truly is, you know. So that was good. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I want to be watching more Real Madrid, but I guess Mbappe's not moving me at the moment. You know, like it wasn't like I'm not like, oh man, I need to watch Mbappe. Do you know what I mean? I thought maybe I might be more interested. You know, I probably tune into Bayern more because of Kane. And
who would have thought? Who would have thought playing at PSG for that long would have dulled down your game enough that you're not excited? Who would have thought it, apart from everyone with a brain that knew he made an absolute disgrace of a decision? It was shocking there. But in the chat, incidentally, Heather is in. Happy Heather, because Bournemouth have won. I think that's the happy Heather.
That's a manager that I think will be on people's lists next summer.
Oh yeah.
You know? He's a good manager, the Bournemouth manager, right? And it's, you know, credit to Bournemouth as well, because they made the change with O'Neill, who hadn't done badly, and they said let's pull the trigger. We want to progress. We're willing to take one step backwards to take a couple forwards, and they even sold Solanke. I think Ivan Nielsen got his first goal tonight. So, you know, off the mark.
And they're doing well. Nice place to go. Nice stadium. It's all good. But I mean, so that's the Liga. Nothing else we haven't covered. Serie A. I know nothing about what's been going on in Serie A at the moment, other than Charlotte's favourite team, Utility FC Lecce. They'd lost 3-0 to Milan.
That's excellent.
It's better with your accent. I can never do Charlotte justice for anything, but Utility FC, so Team Lecce. They're down 3-3. And incidentally, Christian Pulisic scored, who I've seen linked as the saviour signing for Liverpool. Not for me. Not for me. That one Pulisic. Damon Pulisic for you is a saviour signing for Liverpool.
No. Depends if you're asking an American fan. An American fan would say like he's like the best thing ever.
Hey guy,
ever.
Hey,
So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they'd say it's the best thing ever. But Milan actually are looking. Apart from they looked all right against us first few minutes, but I think we dominated them, didn't we? But they are looking all right this season in the league. And Napoli actually, after a bad start, I think they lost the first game. Napoli, they actually turned it around, and Lukaku's not even getting any goals either.
I know. I mean, the Special K's been scoring. I can't. But can anybody ever go? But Kavichka, Kavash,
Vatsikelia.
I go with Kvaratskhelia.
Vatsikelia, I think.
We'll have a competition. Whoever wins,
Special K. Just call it Special K. That's a good nickname. That Special K. I like that.
The Special K.
Yeah, Special K. Yeah, Special K is nice. Double K or something like that. Yeah.
As long as you don't add a third K in, you'd be all fine. That'll just change the show entirely. But yeah, I'm quite. I'd say we need a clip with Chasey and Leke so you can play. But yeah, I it's nice to see Napoli bring themselves back up again because they were in breach of falling apart a little bit. I'm just not sure of Napoli as a team. Because
can I say one thing that I've noticed that teams can do in Italy, and it's kind of like a cheat, but I guess because Conte has come from England. If you bring players that have good physicality and pace in the Prem and take them to Italy where the league is a little bit slower, those players will look like monsters. I'm watching McTominay for Napoli, and he's like players like Loftus-Cheek and stuff.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of pace and power, and you go to the Italian league, you're gonna be a good player. And I think certain teams, Napoli, they bought Gilmour. Like Conte, his signings, he's just buying people that can run, people that have good physicality. Gilmour, not so much, but he's kind of got that playmaking profile, and he's on the bench anyway. But first season, like going to a team like Napoli, who are coming off 10th, good scenario for Conte, because you've just finished 10th. How the hell are you not listening to me? You better listen to me. You just finished 10th. Do you know what I mean? And then you lose the first game, you get hammered. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to the board now. I'm going to quit, Like, you didn't tell me these players were so rubbish. I'm off. Unless you buy me a striker, midfielder. And lo and behold, they bought some new players. I don't know whether Inter, like, I think Inter is still the best team in this league. But yeah, like Napoli, Conte. And obviously he's going to win something, so people can say, well, he wins everywhere else apart from Spurs, which...
Because I have reservations about that from a moral aspect. I mean, because I think to do with the Osherman, the way that they treated Osherman, where I understand he's saying he wanted to go and they kicked him out, but the reason people got to remember the reasons why he wanted to go, and the club's sort of mistreatment of him, and the way they didn't defend him when he was sort of having to withstand some racial slurs, and they just didn't back him, and then they even put out some dodgy tweets themselves. So this, from a moral aspect, I struggle supporting Napoli because of that, but from a footballing aspect, it's nice to see them. They've gone from this complete mess and mash that they were last season to doing a little bit of something, and it's nice to have a competitive league somewhere, which Serie A certainly is. I think Graham said Juventus have not conceded yet, and you've got Juventus, Napoli, Milan, Inter Milan, Torino, Empoli, Lazio, Udinese, and Roma, all within sort of like 4 points of each other, which is really exciting to see. And I love the fact that Udinese are back up. It's a bit old school because it was you guys. I don't know. You both look younger than me, but I got a feeling we might be within a sort of like decade of each other.
I just have a good Botox lady, so don't mind me.
Well, I'm thinking, who was the midfielder that Udinese had back when they were like pretty good, and they had Alexis Sanchez? It was a defensive midfielder that they had.
Gökhan Inler.
No, yeah, no, but I think it's before Inler.
Yeah, it could have been Inler. Inler was Napoli as well, wasn't it?
I feel like
Inler was
fits,
Napoli, though,
fits
wasn't
the description of.
The only person I think of when I think of Udinese is Di Natale.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He was a striker.
Yeah. Run it back. Yeah.
I tell you what, this incidentally, just to make you guys feel old, we're talking about the period about 10 years before Rebecca was born. Just to throw that out there, because she likes to give me shit every week about how much older I am. She doesn't get any of my cultural references. She didn't know who Ronan Keaton was last week.
Oh wow. Okay.
I took that as a personal slur against myself.
See, but then if I was to say the band I went to see last Tuesday, I don't think you'd know them.
Who?
But let me know who they are, Rebecca, because I'm always trying to be down and hip with the kids. I can use this as an icebreaker.
I saw the Vamps play live.
The Vamps.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them, but a quick Google. Don't worry about me. You guys keep up with the show. I'm learning about the Vamps.
I do. I got a daughter. My daughter's 14, so she tries to like keep me down with stuff. Although she is now listening to like Blink 182 and Foo Fighters and Green Day and stuff. I'm like, I'm doing parenting right. Obviously,
this is nice.
Is
that testament? Are we got to the age where we're a bit like Seymour Skinner in that skit? It's like, am I out of touch? No, it's the kids that are wrong. You know, that's the kind of energy. I'm nearly at that stage of life. So yeah. You know,
our Google was Ask Jeeves, wasn't it? Our Google was Ask Jeeves.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Seriously, that Ask Jeeves was like our Chat GPT, for God's sake.
I'm pretty sure I must be older than you guys, because my Google was going to the library and looking for an encyclopedia.
Rebecca's just like, oh my God, you guys are so old.
Reading a book?
No, I read. It's a part of my uni course. I have to.
Okay. She's like, I study archaeology. You know, old fossils like you guys. You know,
that's going to be my comment of the week. I do read. Hey, I read. Come on, I'm well read. So let's move on for Syria. That ship sailed. Nobody cares anymore. Bundesliga is still buying the top. They played Leverkusen this week. They drew 1-1 though. Nobody wanted to lose that game. So they just both pulled together and decided that they would draw 1-1. Unfortunately, I haven't caught myself up to date with a lot of Bundesliga this week, which I feel terrible. But Borussia Dortmund won 4-2 against Bochum. And the only other exciting game really of note is Hoffenheim. Did a bit of an Everton, going ahead and then coming back, then just losing, falling apart. But the Bundesliga table we will run through is Bayern Munich at top of 13 points and 1 point behind Eintracht Frankfurt, who are 1 point ahead of Leipzig, who are 1 point ahead of Leverkusen, who are on the same points as Dortmund, who are 1 point ahead of Heidenheim, who are on the same points of Freiburg, who are 1 point ahead of Stuttgart, who are the same points as Union Berlin, the same points of Werder Bremen, who are 2 points ahead of Mönchengladbach, who are 1 point ahead of Mainz, who are 1 point ahead of Wolfsburg, the same points as St. Pauli, the same points of Augsburg, and 1 point ahead of Hoffenheim, and 2 points ahead of Bochum, and 1 point ahead of Holstein, which I think is a beer. They took a batter this week, and that is the Bundesliga. Very exciting. Spenny fans telling us that Kane got injured in that game, which if he did, Bayern Munich are going to be devoed.
Got a knock at the end of the game. But Elise, by the way,
he's doing bits, isn't he?
He's I like Elise. I've always thought he looked like he had the swagger of a superstar. You know, when you see a player, you know, this is a baller. You know what I mean? This is a guy that I can get behind. And he's gone to Bayern now, and they look really good. I watched some of the game. I think they maybe should have won the game against. I think because obviously Kane went there. I've got I just check it out a little bit more. I actually think Kane's done quite a lot for the. I know people don't really see Kane as a traditional superstar, but I do think he's done a lot for visibility for the Bundesliga. Like, I feel like there's a lot more conversation and chat around that league now than there was before. But yeah, no, interesting. I've got them as kind of like, I think Company could do well in the Champions League as well. You know, for them, they do look a decent team. Which
I think his style of football suits that team in that league better than it did Burnley. Who would have thought attacking? You know, go out of football.
Do you think that helps managers like McKenna and stuff, almost get like a bit of a free pass kind of thing, because you get a manager like Company. He got Burnley relegated. He goes to Bayern because you're basically saying, okay, he's got the right systems, he's got the right pressing, he's got the right positional play. And I do think sometimes now you'll see managers now do the brand thing rather than what's best for the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like some of these managers are, okay, if I get relegated, so be it. I've got relegated playing my style of football, and I'll get picked up by another club. And I don't want to be that cynical that managers will be willing to cost their team their place in the league for their own personal brand.
I think they would do, because that's football, isn't it? And I think Company's got the fact that he's Vincent Company as well behind him. But I do, because football's very cutthroat. So I wouldn't blame a manager either for thinking I'm going to do me. If it works with the team, that's excellent. But in that sort of lower mid-table, lower end, I wouldn't begrudge them at all, because you got to look after yourself, and it's all brand and be TikToking and all of that stuff. Down with the kids, wop. And the special for Rebecca, it was the Rebecca Derby this week. The two teams that I could never remember which one of which she actually supports. It's either Dundee or Aberdeen. She follows one of them. Believe it or not, lads, Rebecca has a team everywhere. Everywhere you go, every league, Rebecca's got a team, and I'm sure in Scotland she's got two. Dundee and Aberdeen. What happened there, Rebecca? And which team were you most happy for?
Well, I wasn't very happy with Dundee getting beat. It's another frustrating loss for them. The defence does seem to be a bit iffy at the moment. They did have a chance to go 1-0 up quite early on with Lyle Cameron, but it just didn't work their way, and Aberdeen took the lead in the I can't remember what minute it was, but it was Kevin Nisbet that got the goal for them, and then they doubled their lead in the 32nd minute. It all just happened in the first half in this match. It's like, you didn't need second half, just watch it all in first and your match was done. Dundee were rewarded a penalty on the stroke of half-time, which Simon Murray did score to try and pull them back into it, but they just weren't able to capitalise in the second half. I do just want to say that I wish Mo Silla a very speedy recovery. He was taken to hospital at half-time. It has been reported today by Dundee that he is out of hospital, and he was reported to have apparently gone into anaphylactic shock. But I just wanted to wish him a very speedy recovery. Hope everything's okay, and hopefully see him back playing very soon.
Oh, excellent, definitely. And wishing him all the best. And good news, though, for Charlotte, a podcast favourite, one of Charlotte's favourites, Big Shanks with a 96-minute equaliser of Hearts against Ross County. That one was for you. He dedicated to you, Charlotte. I saw him. He went around. He was doing a C for Charlotte after he scored. Big Shanks there for Hearts. And Celtic just smashing that league. It's just no point them being there. They just spoil it. Spoil it for everyone.
I haven't watched too much of Celtic under Rodgers. It'd be interesting to understand, do people think because the Rodgers team looks pretty stable, they're doing well, getting some results in Europe. I'd really be interested to see a comparative analysis of whether people think Ange's team was better or this Rodgers team is better.
I think it's just the league. I think it's an irrelevance of the manager almost for Celtic in that league personally. I think they score more under Rodgers. I think I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure they score more under Rodgers and they're a bit more attacking. But I don't know. I genuinely think the league doesn't allow a fair comparison, to be honest with you, because they just smash everyone.
I do really like this Celtic team. I think Luke McCowan has been a big addition for them, and they have become a lot more attacking. I mean, Luke McCowan, he did incredible with Dundee, and it was a bit of a, will he be able to take the jump up to Celtic? Because we all know, what is an incredible Celtic team. Would he be able to slot in? And he's gone in really well. I did miss one thing from my Dundee match, which is if you want to sort your defence out, Dundee, please start playing Ryan Astley, and that's all I'm going to say.
Come on, you should never want to give him up, and he'll never let you down. But that is the SPFL. I've just noticed the time, and I thought, holy sweet ball bags. So let's rummage through this. PSV still doing PSV bits. Oh my days, 25 goals now in 7 games. Just they might as well just give them the league again. I don't know if Luke de Jong is still there because I haven't looked yet, but that tickled me that they were blasting the goals in last season with Luke de Jong up front. But down the bottom, unfortunately, Warwick is still at the bottom, still haven't won yet. If they go down, that's one of our favourite team names to say that could be done. So Warwick, sort yourselves out. Stop playing so badly. Another team, Sparta Rotterdam and Fortuna Shithard, 2-1-1. Another podcast favourite there. And that's the reason. Unfortunately, people, I know you enjoy it. We can't spend any more time because I promise these guys were hour and a half. And at the time, Marseille and Strasbourg were playing while I did this table because I can't spend my life updating tables. I don't know where this game ended. And it's Ligue 1, and I sort of don't care because PSV, as I tell you every week, you have spoiled football in France. You dirty, dirty scumbags. I wish you weren't there. I wish you didn't just pollute and just destroy what was a really competitive, enjoyable league. You've made it less so. Graham's right. It's coming to that time where chaps normally about match week 8 or 9, I start cutting off PSG off the top because it's a much more interesting table without them there. PSG is still there. Stuff you because I don't care. But Monaco, fly the flag, please. Keep winning games, make it competitive, and maybe we'll start to care about League 1 again. But that brings us. We've completed football. Football's done now. There's nothing else that anyone else can talk about that you won't get here. For Becca, thank you for being here. Where can people find you? Where are you?
You can find me here, _Rebecca _Shaw_, and that is on TikTok and Twitter. You can find my Her Game 2 content at ASFC Her Game 2. And if anyone wants to come and join the anything to do with Formula 1, 2 and 3, then you can join me and Jen, who is on the Lower League podcast at Girls in the Grandstand.
And we've been so lucky. Oh, look at that, the queen of the point and the underscore queen, Rebecca. We've been so lucky, and I really, really appreciate both you guys coming in. Both Damon and Jay came in at very, very short notice. Last night, I asked both of them. I am terribly disorganized. I'm working on being better, but really, really appreciate both of you accepting at such short notice. I'm sure everyone will agree. You've both been fantastic. People are going to want more of you, especially for Liverpool content. Where are you and where can they find you socially? Don't give them your home address because they will be there on that one.
Well, you can find me here on the Twitter.
The point's hard, isn't it? Isn't it hard to get that point right?
It's the wrong way around. It's there. DA9MO on Twitter. You'll find me on there, and also TikTok, whatever. My HD podcast, which I'm just about getting back into track with, and then LC Transfer Room as well. So yeah.
So check him out. And Jay,
yeah, you can get me. Yeah. I was practicing when I was just like, it's really like because you got like the mirror and then the opposite and then the. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's like I've had a lazy day. That's the most difficult thing I've tried to achieve. So JRatedR on Twitter. You can see me floating about. I probably will have a channel at some point, but man, it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. I'd rather just I'd rather just piggyback off other people's work and just come in and. So it's mainly Twitter. You can find me, and then obviously on lovely podcasts like this. Thanks for having me. It's been a ball, and yeah. So I'm sure I'll see some of you guys in the comments around. You guys were all great, fabulous. Thanks for having you, etc., etc.
Beautiful, and of course, that the big thing at the moment is 3 times nominated for the Football Contents Award, Best New Creator, Best in Women's Football, Best in Non-League Football. Please, if you haven't done yet, go onto the FCA Football Content Awards website and get on there, how to vote. If you're going to Google search it, Google search FCA, how to vote, and get on there. Please find us. We're Absolute Football Podcast and Best New Content Creator, Absolute Football Podcast in Best in Women's Football, and Absolutely Lower League in the Best in Non-League. So please check that out. As Graham was saying, please get in there and vote for us. But don't just vote for us there. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't yet, do hit that subscribe button, because every time you do, an angel gets its wings, which is a beautiful thing to see. We are at Absolute Football Podcast on YouTube, and it's Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, because of character account. Absolute Ball Pod on Twitch, at Absolute Ball Football Pod on the tick boom, and Absolute Football Podcast _ on Instagram and Threads. Mondays, we're here covering the Premier League, European football, all that good stuff. And on Wednesdays, it is hashtag Team Chaos, where we cover all of the women's football, anything on women's football you want to know. They will talk about it. Stuff you don't want them to talk about, they will talk about it, because Paul's probably there talking about it. So do check them out on a Wednesday as well. And on Thursday, Charlotte's Rowdy Wabble are going to be there. What they're going to be talking about, all of football that isn't the Premier League. So every single league down Charlotte goes through, and make sure you do join there. And everything's at 8:30, nice and easy for you. So thank you everybody for joining us, and please remember that God loves you, Rebecca loves you, I'm sure Damon and Jay love you, and if a tree falls in the wood and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Of course it does. That's how sound vibrations work. Have a pleasant evening, TTFN, and ta-ta for now.